During the Republican response last night, Nikki Haley mentioned the ugly tone in politics. And this morning on the Today Show, the South Carolina governor confirmed she was indeed talking about one Donald Trump.
And I just want to be clear here that when you were talking about those loudest voices, those angriest voices, in that context, you were referring to Donald Trump, correct?
He was one of them, yes. He was one. There's other people in the media. There's people in my state. I think we're seeing it across the country. But yes, Mr. Trump has definitely contributed to what I think is just irresponsible talk.
Now, while some of the right are applauding Ms. Haley, some are also taking her to task. Let's get into that right now. We're going to bring in our good friend, Republican strategist Bill O'Reilly, who now joins the panel. It was interesting. I listened to some of the comments back and forth. Some folks were like, finally, about time. You know, somebody took this guy down. And in fact, we're hearing scuttlebutt that, GOP not only applauded those comments, obviously, that it was the national rebuttal, but they're also telling it, let's not everybody have, a circular firing squad. Jeb, stand down on Marco Rubio. Don't go after him. But they all seem to like the fact, even more than Cruz, which they seem to be a little bit of a distinguishing between the two from some, that Trump's fair game and everybody lay in. Is that fair?
I think that's right. I'm a big Nikki Haley fan. Have been for a long time. I was rooting for her to be the VP pick 4 years ago, and I thought she wasn't going to get this moment in the sun, and she got it, and she did really, really well with it. I thought, but I cheered from the couch. I just thought she was terrific. She hit it exactly right. She looked great doing it. She delivered
it well. Why now, Bill? Because people have been talking about this for a while. Why now is it fine to go after him?
She came out in a refreshing way. There was something about just the delivery of it. She was like, a lot of people have taken pot shots at Trump before, but she did it in a way that was it was responsible. It was.
You talked about her heritage. She also
she did. She established the trust. Yeah, she established trust with the viewer, and then she did it without any bile. And I think that was really important. I heard from Democrats today saying to me, "Well, I could go back for her. I could go for her." It was very interesting.
What's funny is Trump always says, "You know what? She didn't do herself any favors. She's not my VP pick necessarily. I mean, only Trump." But what's interesting, Bill, look at the polls. Trump's making up ground in Iowa now.
I know.
So is it? Are they speaking for the base, or are they speaking for?
How long is it going to take you establishment people?
Oh yeah. You outsider, Richard.
To realize that Trump is important here not because of what he says, but because he's representing a view that is probably the dominant view in the Republican Party. She's criticizing Republican voters as much as she's criticizing Trump.
Yeah, it's not just Republicans. It's a lot of Republicans, no question. It's not just Republicans. There are a lot of Democrats that go with the Trump message as well. There's definitely something weird out there. I don't think it's a majority. I think we'll find that out over the course of the primary.
And I think you'll see every time some establishment person, a governor, a senator comes out and criticizes another candidate, it almost helps them. It's this environment where people are so fed up, they're so pissed off. They say, "Oh, the governor doesn't like him. Maybe I should vote for him." Right. So it's that dual dilemma there.
You finally get a negotiator, a successful businessman.
A businessman, a winner.
We're 3 weeks away from the Iowa caucus, and I was reading a poll the other day that said basically the same percentage of the Republican electorate is paying attention to the race right now than there were back in October or September, which is to say, not a very large percentage. So I think these potential. They're more than paper cuts. I don't want to just put them off that way. But when the establishment starts to circle in on Donald Trump and go after him little by little, bit by bit, I think that does register with voters, and I think that can put a doubt or some question into the minds of voters before they go into the polling place. I think a lot of these voters are still fluid and haven't made up their minds yet.
The tack that Cruz took today against Trump was New Yorker.
Right.
And now he's labeling it as the city slicker here, and all the rest. They're trying everything. The only time some will stick, right?
The only time I've seen Cruz lose his composure, because he's a very disciplined guy on camera, was he was asked last night whether calls, testing messages in Iowa were from his campaign, and he went about. But it seems that the anti-New York message has won out, and it was New York values.
And
Trump
I think you're starting to get a sense from Republican establishment that down ticket races are in jeopardy if Donald Trump's at the top of their ticket. They could lose the Senate, they could lose the House if Donald Trump is at the top of their ticket, and I think that's a real worry.
And if Ted Cruz is at the top of the ticket,
I think they think they're likely to fare better. Although I got a reminder yesterday of Republicans in the House how much they hate Ted
And if Ben Carson is on the head of the ticket?
Not going to happen.
So who's
let's
the head
move
of the
on.
ticket that wins for Republicans?
Rubio.
I think
They
they're
want
thinking
Rubio.
Rubio, or they might be thinking Kasich, or they might be thinking Jeb, or they might be thinking Christie.
Jeb.
The guy with the
Moving back
shiny
up again.
boots?
Yeah.
What's that?
Rubio, the guy with the shiny boots?
Yeah, we'll say yes.
Okay, I want to ask, though, on the Democratic side, guys. Listen, everybody takes it as pro forma, Hillary wins and the rest. But I don't know. If Sanders not only wins New Hampshire, but if he wins Iowa, can't you make an argument that the inevitability of Hillary is certainly not pro forma? That I know South Carolina plays
that's-
better for her, Nevada plays
if
better
the-
for her,
if-
but can this thing turn ugly? And
Well,
also
you-
how she's going after
You've
him now, and
a-
also
you've
how he's
asked 6
responding.
questions. Has it turned
Well,
ugly?
you're trying to
Is
get
it-
one that you
is it
answer.
pro forma?
Answer, you
Look,
got a minute.
One answer.
Sanders is strong. Hillary can't take him for granted. In the end, the Democratic voter will be so concerned about picking the Democrat most likely to beat any Republican that Sanders has a much higher place to jump. He has to show he's better than Hillary in beating Republicans as opposed to merely being better on the
See,
issues.
David, I think Democrats make the mistake that they think the angry electorate's just on the right. I think that there is the electorate in plural right now is just fed up.
Well, I mean, think about, Hillary Clinton's got a hard position to run from. Now it's the third term of Barack Obama, and it's easy to paint her with that. I just drove back from the State of the State up in Albany, and you drive down, you see bumper sticker after bumper sticker. It says Bernie, 2016, and I don't see too much Hillary Clinton. I like Hillary Clinton. I've supported Hillary Clinton, but you don't
endorse
see that.
anybody
Formally no, but I'll be supporting Hillary Clinton. But you don't see that excitement. I've known her, worked with her even when she was in the U.S. Senate, so I have that, that trust and that relationship that, you know who she is. But a lot of people don't.
And her ad, the latest one's a formal reaffirmation of the gun policy of Barack Obama. To your point, a continuation of
So
the
that's
status
tough.
quo.
And you talk about down ticket. That in a way, that's tough for Democrats, if you will, in swing areas. You look at the statistics. I think you have more Republican state legislators in the history of the United States right now. You have more congressional Republicans than you did since Herbert Hoover.
Well, you mentioned, you mentioned you were in Albany today. You weren't the only one. When we come back, we're going to come a little closer to home. Take a look at Governor Cuomo's State of the State address. There were big themes, big plans, a lot of big money needed to pay for all this, and also one big mouth here who was yelling in front, and I'm not talking about the governor. We'll talk about all that, plus our own Dominic Carter, who's there taking in all the action.